So this has quickly become one of the biggest off seasons. I shouldn't just say biggest, but arguably the most important off season for the Bulls in franchise history since the dynasty days. And while that might seem like an exaggeration and a reactionary take when you think about what's at stake here for this team in their future, as well as the potential offseason changes that are set to occur, you realize that it's actually more than just any other offseason. A new front office, now 4 picks going into the draft, 2 first-round picks, 2 seconds, one of the first-round picks having a 20.3% chance of moving into the top 4. One of the second-round picks is actually an early second-rounder coming from the Pelicans that is going to be 37th overall. A mountain of cap space, the most in the NBA going into the summer. A bunch of players coming off the books, multiple trade possibilities with the potential of packaging picks to trade up, trade possibilities of taking on unwanted contracts to bring in more picks. Like, this is by far and away going to be one of the most interesting off seasons for the Bulls in recent memory. And a large part of it is because they're bringing in a new regime. That's literally only happened twice in the past 2 decades, and a job that is shaping up to be more and more attractive by the day with the endless possibilities that I just described. And so for the first time in a long time, I would say even before I started the channel back in 2020, I can honestly say I'm the most excited I have been about this team's future and hopefully seeing a turnaround in respectability and relevance from the Bulls in the NBA. That said, none of this is going to matter if the Bulls do not hit on everything that they need to come this offseason. They have to get this offseason right, from hiring the new executive, getting a new coaching staff. Hopefully, we'll see. We still haven't heard anything about Billy Donovan's future at the time of this recording, getting a new coaching staff, hitting on the right draft picks, making the right plays in free agency to set themselves up for sustained success. All of that. It's critical that all of that is done this offseason to get the team back on track and turn this franchise around. What might that look like, though? That's the question. Well, in this video, I wanted to start, I still need to do way more research on this, but I wanted to start on some of the prospects the Bulls should consider with the 9th and 15th pick, and why these picks could be a big difference maker for this team's future in building out this young core. So what's going on, everyone? You're listening to Bulls Central here. Hope you're all doing well. Now, everyone likes to talk about how it's always good as a franchise to get multiple bites of the apple when it comes to the NBA draft. Having more picks than just your own to get more cracks at landing top talent. Because as we know, the draft, and I say this all the time and often get criticized for it, the draft is a bit of a crapshoot. Yes, you are more likely to hit at the top, but you will never come across a single draft in history where the best player from said draft was taken number 1, the second best player from that draft was drafted number 2, third best player drafted 3, and so on. The talent is so variable and dependent on a number of circumstances rather than just having one opportunity to try and hit on your pick and hoping you took the right guy. Give yourself multiple chances. And so for the Bulls, having the fortune of the Blazers pick finally conveying after all these years with the best possible pick in a lottery protected pick, 15th overall, although I should say the Warriors did win last night, and if they actually beat the Suns, then the Bulls pick is actually going to be 16th. But in any event, and what was projected to be a pick that was likely not to convey is now going to be a mid-first rounder in one of the deepest draft classes in recent memory. Gives them a higher chance and probability of landing a guy, as we like to call it, landing a real impact player, hell, even a future star. Now, of course, like I mentioned, we won't know if the Bulls' own lottery pick will actually move up into the top 4 until May 10th, but for the purposes of this video, we're going to assume the Bulls will get the 9th pick and looking at prospects that are slated to go in that range as well as 15. And when I look at some of these prospects, to me, it's pretty clear that the top 3 is more or less set in stone. You've got Debansa, Peterson, Boozer. Then you got the next tier of players like Caleb Wilson, Darius Acuff, Keaton Wagler. Then it's sort of a mixed bag from there. I'm seeing across multiple different mock draft boards, multiple different outlets from 7 to 14. So it's tough to say who will and will not be available when the Bulls are on the clock at number 9 or number 10. There is a possibility the Bulls could fall back to 10. Very small possibility they could fall to 11. But the way I'm sort of looking at it with this pick at number 9, the Bulls absolutely have to take the best player available. Don't look at it from a fit perspective or a position of need, because this roster is in no way, shape, or form in a position where they can say, we don't need this guy because we already have too many guards. No, this roster should be viewed as a clean slate. And the guy I really like, I think has a ton of upside potential, again, if he's available when the Bulls are set to pick, is Mikal Brown Jr. Yes, another guard. I know Bulls already have enough of those, especially the ones that are still under contract and slated to come back next season. But if he's available at 9, I feel like you have to take a chance on this kid, even if it means Rob Dillingham is pushed out of the rotation. Even if it means that later on down the road he becomes a better option than Josh Giddey, you have to take the best player available at number 9. I love this guy's ball handling ability, solid court vision in the open court. He's very capable as a shot creator, but can also play well off the ball in the catch and shoot. He's crafty in getting into the paint and navigating his way through defenses. He's pretty active with his hands on defense as well and does a great job at getting in the passing lanes. The biggest downsides with Brown is that he is a little undersized, meaning his frame. He's 6'5", but he's 190 pounds, so he likely is going to struggle initially anyway with the physicality of the NBA until he's able to put on some muscle and not get hunted on defense. But I love the upside from this kid of him turning into a strong 3-level scorer who can play on and off the ball, has the court vision and passing ability that's really conducive to today's style of pace and space in the NBA. You need these quick, versatile guards that know how to operate in transition and limit their turnovers. The other guy I like, and he honestly fits a position of need as well and has such a unique skill set, but I just feel like it's probably a reach to take him as high as 9, and maybe he would still be available at 15, but that's Adey Mara. I mean, the Ringer has him mocked at 17, but some outlets have him going as high as number 8. Look, if the Bulls need anything, and I don't even mean something that's needed from this past season, but they've really needed for the past 5+ years now, is a strong rim protecting, rim running big. Adey Mara is a 7'3" giant, 255 pounds, but he reads the floor like a guard, is an underrated passer, but more importantly, is an elite shot blocker with impeccable timing to ensure the ball doesn't even get close to the rim. But not only his size alone, but he can deter guards who get into the paint from even putting it up out of fear that their shot is going to get rejected. Very similar how you see offenses are when they enter the paint against Victor Wembanyama when he's even 5 feet away from them. On offense, he finishes very well around the rim with his ability to use both hands effectively. Because of his size, he's able to crash the offensive glass and get second chance opportunities, something the Bulls have struggled greatly with. And man, imagine an elite level passer like Josh Giddey and the actions the Bulls can run and work with for Mara in the pick and roll. The biggest downside with Mara and why I hesitate to take him with the 9th pick instead of just waiting to see if he's available at 15 is that he's not a good shooter, rarely shoots it from 3, and he's a pretty bad free throw shooter at just 60% in his college career. He's also a bit of an older prospect. He's a junior, still only 21, but not your typical high upside player that's coming into the league as a one and done player at age 19. But the way I look at it is size is so important. You cannot teach that. The Bulls, after trading Vucevic, have become so small, and not only does size matter, but you need a defensive anchor. And what better anchor than to have the guy that was the anchor of one of the best defenses in college basketball last season, and also help lead Michigan to a national title. Now, when it comes to the Bulls and who they should take with the 15th pick or maybe 16th pick, this is where things get interesting, because the projection ranges are a bit all over the place. But if he's available, which he might not be, but if he's available, I'm taking Braden Burries out of Arizona with this pick. I've seen his draft stock fall a bit. Went from being projected a top 10 pick to now in the mid-first round range in a lot of mock boards. I like this kid because he's a big-time energy guy, big-time hustle player. He's always giving maximum effort no matter the situation in the game. Very active on the defensive side of the ball, great playing on-ball defense, but has strong situational awareness when he's playing off-ball defense and making the right switches and reading plays before they happen. Bulls need defensive guards. They need strong perimeter defenders. It's a major thing they've been lacking since they had Alex Caruso. And then on offense, I don't know what other people are seeing, but I'm seeing a shot creator that has a lot of potential. Just like with his defense, he's very physical on offense, can beat you off the dribble, can stop on a dime and step back for a mid-range jumper, but can also hit pull-up threes in transition. But on top of that, he's also a very capable facilitator and generating shots for others. I just see a lot of two-way potential for this guy that has more upside than people think. And if he's there at 15, you have to consider it. And then finally, and I know some people are out on this idea because he's old by prospect standards anyway, but that's Yaxel Lindenborg. I actually wasn't opposed to the Bulls taking him 9th, and it's possible he could go top 10, but then I thought about it more. I just don't think, if you're the Bulls anyway, you take a prospect in the top 10 who's already going to be older than half the guys on your roster. But if he's available at 15, I think it's worth the gamble because you're talking about a strong power forward, 6'9", 240 pounds, strong defender, puts on great ball pressure and interior paint defense, solid shot blocker, active hands to force turnovers, can crash the boards with his size and physicality to box out opponents. 6'9", but an insane 7'4" wingspan where he's even big/long enough to act as a small ball 5 if you need him to, but also is fluid enough to move the ball and facilitate on offense as an underrated passer, and he's got great finishing ability around the rim. So while this wouldn't be an upside play per se, but more so would fit a position of need as a strong defensive forward that is versatile in being able to guard multiple positions. And I also like this option because it allows Manas Buzelis to slide to the 3, which I think he is best suited for anyway. Now, I'll obviously have some more in-depth draft prospect videos as we get closer and closer to the draft, especially after the draft lottery once the Bulls picks have been solidified, but hitting on those picks is going to be critical. Like I talked about in prior videos, hitting on the new GM is going to be paramount. I talked about some of the names that I really liked. I also recently talked about some of the free agents and not just targets, but options the Bulls can pursue in a recent video. You can check that one out as well. And then, of course, the coaching staff. I'm holding off on that one until we get confirmation that Billy is staying or going. I have my thoughts on which coaches I would like to see for the Bulls, but I'll save that for now. I actually want to hear who are some of the prospects you guys are most interested in for the Bulls at 9 and 15. Let me know who those players are in the comments and who I should actually be taking a look and doing a deeper dive on. So let me know. As always, guys, be sure to subscribe, and I will see you in the next one.